Hello, I'm Sharla and welcome to this video for Lewisburg Community TV. As you can see, this week I'm not in my craft room. That's because I got this lovely message from Lilly and Erin in England.
Hi Sharla, hi Grandad Tony. Can Sharla please do a video on how to make jam? Because we want to find out. Yeah.
Any flavour?
Strawberry.
So what do we need to make our jam? Well, first of all, we need fruit. Today we've got strawberries. And then we also need to make our jam set. And all fruit have got natural ingredients in them called pectin and acid. Some fruits, like lemons and grapefruits and oranges, have got high levels of pectin and acid. But fruits like strawberries don't have very much at all. So you need to add the pectin and the acid by adding the juice of a lemon. And then we also need sugar. Now, some sugars, like jam sugar, if you can find jam sugar, is good because it has the pectin and the acid already added to the sugar. So then you don't need to use the lemon. So there we go, we've got our sugar and our fruit, and then we also need some empty jam jars to put our jams in at the end. If you can't get jam sugar, then use granulated sugar. So the first thing we'll do is just wash our fruit. So we've washed our strawberries, and it's best to use strawberries that aren't quite ripe. Because the riper the strawberries get, the lower the pectin level gets. So once we've washed our strawberries, we need to take the stalks off. So I've got a special tool here which just helps to dig out the stalk, or if you haven't got anything like that, just get a knife and chop the stalks off. Once you've taken the stalks off the strawberries, we need to weigh them. So I've got 740 grams of strawberries here, but you can use as much as you like, but you need to then have the same amount of sugar. The next thing we need to do is chop them up just into smaller pieces and put them in the saucepan. Once you've chopped up your strawberries, you can put it on a medium heat for about 10 minutes until it starts to reduce in volume. Now, if you're not using jam sugar and you're using ordinary granulated sugar, this is the time when you put in your lemon juice. Another job to do while you're making your jam is to sterilise your jam jars. So I've got some old jars here. I've washed them with soapy water and dried them, and now I'm putting them in a very low heated oven for about 15 minutes. And we can see this is reducing nicely now, so it's time for us to add our sugar. And at this time, if you've got a jam thermometer, something like this, it's a good idea to pop it onto the side of the saucepan. Or if you haven't got a jam thermometer but you've got a digital thermometer, that's quite handy to have to hand. If you haven't got a thermometer at all, don't worry, there's another way of finding out if your jam's ready, and I'll show you that towards the end. So while the strawberries are bubbling away nicely, we can just add our sugar. So all the sugar's been put in now. Just give it a little bit of a stir. and then just keep it on a low to medium heat until all the sugar's dissolved. Once you're happy that the sugar's dissolved, you can increase the heat and bring it to the boil. Now, if you've got a jam thermometer, it should say on the side of your thermometer, it's just over 100 degrees C and just over 200 degrees Fahrenheit that you're reaching jam setting point. Again, if you've got a digital thermometer, you can just pop it in there. So there we go, my jam is reaching up to almost 100 degrees now, so I can just lower the heat slightly. When you think you're nearing setting point, take your pot off the heat, okay, and get a saucer and just put a little bit of jam on there, okay. So after this has been left for a couple of minutes on the plate, all you need to do is get your thumb, your little finger, and just pull it across the jam. You can see it's got a little bit of a skin forming there, and that means it's at setting point. And then what we do is we just leave our saucepan for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just leave it just for it to cool down slightly. Now, once you've left your jam for about 20 minutes, if you come back to it, you'll see a little skin will have formed on the top. That's okay. And then you just stir it because you want all the fruit to be evenly distributed. So the next thing to do is put it in the jars. So for this, you'll need a ladle. You get your warm jars out of the oven. And ideally, if you've got a jam funnel, you could use one of these because it's just got a wide opening to put over the top of the jar like that. If you haven't got one, an ordinary funnel, if it's wide enough, might be okay. But if you ask a grown-up to help you, they might have steady hands to be able to put it in. So we need to make sure we've got enough fruit for in all of them, so we just ladle it in. Just make sure we keep stirring so we don't lose out on the fruit in all of the jars. Okay, and put that onto the next one. You want it just up to almost up to the top of the jar. So if you find that you've got just a little bit of jam left over, you might just get a small dish and just pour it into that. If you're somebody that's made jam and marmalade before, it might be that you've got these waxed discs from a set, and what I would do is put it waxy side down on the top of the jar of jam. It just helps with the preservation of your jam. If you don't have these, it doesn't matter. You just need to leave the jar of jam with its lid off until it's gone completely cold, and then you can just screw the lid on and keep them in a cupboard somewhere. And don't forget to write your labels so you know when you made your jam. So there we have it, our pots of jam. I'm going to try some on a piece of freshly made soda bread. Lovely. So, thanks for the challenge, Lilly and Erin. I hope you enjoy making your strawberry jam. See you next time for another fun video. Bye for now.